Odell Beckham Jr. is fighting with the media is fighting with Odell Beckham Jr. I'm so biased in this case. You want to do this one?
No, I'm with you on most of it because I'm not a Giants fan, but I've been on Odell Beckham Jr.'s side when it comes to how the media treats him and how his own teammates treat him. I've always, like, Eli Manning's fallen so far down in how I view certain people when it comes to the way they handle the media. Like, he threw Odell Beckham Jr. under the bus several times last season. It was absurd. McAdoo. So did McAdoo as well. But that's also, I'm not the biggest fan of the Giants at the moment because of what John Mara had to say.
John Mara, what a great guy.
But in regards to the way Odell Beckham Jr. is treated by the media, it's what happens when you have someone, before we get to the story recently, it's just what happens when you have someone who likes to try and push the boundary a little bit. The Cam Newton effect, that likes to not play by the rules that everyone thinks you have to play by when it comes to the NFL.
Really quick tangent,
hit me,
but important tangent. Could we talk about why Cam Newton uses a ridiculous keyboard for his Instagrams?
You did say he writes in like cryptic codes.
It's not.
I want to check it really quick, see if he's still doing it.
And it actually spawned, I thought, the funniest SpongeBob meme. You know, the one where it's like the two different. You know what I'm talking about? The viral SpongeBob meme.
But Jason, there's a lot of viral.
No, but the one that had everyone like, it's like Cam type normally. It's Cam type normally.
Oh, right.
But every single one, right?
Ride with
really
champagne.
like Cam Newton. I think Cam Newton
If it wasn't
awesome.
for the struggle, then I wouldn't be me. Call me Deuce or Does.
But see, this is a great representation of how you have to read Cam Newton's actual. Right, but that's how you have to read it. As a 25-year-old, you have to be this close to your phone.
Fuego outfit, by the way.
What is it? How do you know if your dad's wearing it? If your dad's.
Oh no, is your mum really your mum unless she holds her phone like this and scrolls with the index finger? Like, Mum, we have thumbs. Your thumbs don't depreciate at the age of like 40 or 50. They're still the same. Just scroll. It's so much easier. I love when you just walk through, like, whenever you go to a mall or anything like that, you just always see the mums that are just sitting under the things and they're like, from the distance and their fingers are like this. I'm like, oh my God.
My mom discovered Instagram recently.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
Can we follow her?
No. It's my mom. How dare you?
But you can follow Francis at Maxwell.
Shameless. Back to Odell Beckham Jr., who types his Instagrams normally.
Yes.
And again, like Cam Newton, I just why? Just why?
It's hard to read sometimes.
So Odell Beckham Jr. Was reportedly, according to Adam Schefter, was skipping OTAs, which a lot of people do, over a contract dispute. So ESPN's Adam Schefter reported Wednesday that the wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. had been absent from New York Giants OTAs due to his desire for a new deal. He reported the reasoning despite nobody in Beckham's camp publicly confirming the motivation. And while OBJ has been mum about it, hey, look at that, mums, about his rationale as well, he retweeted a link of Tuesday of Schefter saying in an interview that Beckham shouldn't report to OTAs without a deal in place. God, this is why people write in their bios, retweets don't mean endorsements. Like I said, if retweets are fired, Instagram likes meant endorsements, I'd be fired based on what I look up and retweet all the time. But in this case, Odell Beckham Jr. had this to say. The retweet really can mean anything, though. He said, social media must be kind of new. A retweet of a 3-minute conversation could have been the first 15 seconds, could have been the last 15 seconds, could have been the whole thing. It's kind of something that you take and you try and you look for information that really, then it really has. And then if you skip the Johnny Manziel post, Jacory, get to his cleats, he wore these at his first day at workouts.
That's badass.
And I was mad because, like, where is TYT's
Yeah, I don't get this, man.
You know, Kevin Durant called us out. Those are fire.
Those are actually really cool. I would wear those if those were like sneakers.
TMZ, man, right there.
Yeah, that's good.
New York Post.
New York Post. That's so nasty.
So Odell Beckham Jr., who's one of the 3 best wide receivers in football, gets thrown under the bus by Eli, by McAdoo. It doesn't seem like they have his back, even though they do. You know. I don't know what's going to happen this Giants season, but the fact that we got Brandon Marshall on the team as well makes us either the most talented wide receiving trio in the league with Sterling Shepard, or one by week 5 that is going to implode.
Yeah, no
because neither of these guys are great when it comes to the media. Great's not the right word because Odell brings a lot of it onto himself. He's very fiery, but the guy backs it up on the field. And I thought because we went through this with Terrell Owens already, that this new version of Terrell Owens, constantly in this type of spotlight, constantly bringing a little bit to himself, but also being blown out of proportion for what it is, I thought that maybe we'd have learned from it, but instead it's the same typical
Well,
text.
One point I wanted to reiterate is like, yeah, he backs it up when he is used. Well, how many times did we talk about last season where he got frustrated that he was being left open and not being used enough? And especially last season when he was undoubtedly your best and
He's
most
our best
effective
player by a mile.
By a mile.
Landon Collins is
Well,
sick.
no, but still, all right, best defensive player. Whatever.
Best offensive player.
Yeah. He wasn't being used, and then he had that moment, obviously, where he hit the fight with the kicker's net, whatever, and then he
proposed to the kicker's net.
And then
it was fine.
He made up with it, but that was in a game where he was in high spirits because he was being found on consistent passes, and he was basically proving once again how valuable and how much better the team can be when you use him. So yeah, you get Brandon Marshall on the team this year, which
big target.
The recipe that is in front of you when you don't understand the personalities, you're like, just look at the stats and you're like, my God, the Giants are going to be a team to be feared next year. And then you put into perspective the different personalities there and the off the field antics that's going on, and it just creates an almost uneasiness about it. Like anything can just kind of cause this whole thing that's got potential to just crumble. It's like you get a team of Rajon Rondos and all of a sudden you're like, okay, just stay happy. We've got a chance. And then suddenly something happens and it upsets everyone and the whole dynamic goes out the window. What you need is your quarterback to have your team's back. What you need is your owner to have your team's back. What you need is your coach to have the team's back. And when someone asks you, did you see Odell Beckham Jr.? You look pretty upset that you never found him wide open. Never seen it. Done.
Yeah,
like it's so easy to do.
When they used him, they tended to do a lot better.
Very true.
Remember, this is to say this was at the Miami yacht party attended by the Giants and all that stuff. And oh my God, that's the reason they lost their playoff game, because they were on a party on a boat before. Forgot who said it, but the best tweet about that one was the Dallas Cowboys, when they were winning Super Bowls, had a literal place called the Funhouse with actual strippers and drugs and alcohol. And I don't think the boat is to blame. Although I did say when that was happening, like, yeah, would I prefer them not to be on a boat? Sure. Do I think it's why they lost? No.
But how then can you post a meme with the Step Brothers lingo? I'm on a boat.
Is that my boat now?
All right, let us know what you think. Those shoes, by the way, I really want a pair of those. I want them in like.
Did you see they released today? No, June 28th. Jock tweeted it out. It's the Jordan Bike Converse. It's the Tar Heel Blue Converse weapons.
It sounds
$300.
I love how intimidating they make them. The Tar Heel Blue weapons.
They're $300, man.
With the full armor of LeBron James.
$300.